Someone made fun of dear leader. Someone mocked the precious. Here's how the government journalists at the CBC state broadcaster reported this crisis, this scandal. BC Mounties anti-Trudeau website raises concerns about discriminatory views within the RCMP. I mean, right there, that's gorgeous already, isn't it? They call him a BC Mountie, and he is, but his comments were not made in that capacity. But the headline leads you to think that they were. They call the website anti-Trudeau, which is accurate, but then they call that discriminatory. Because you see, if you disagree with Trudeau and his policies, you are obviously a bigoted extremist. I mean, just ask Trudeau himself.
Aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Qui sont extrémistes.
Qui croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on tolère?
I'll get into the story in a moment, but who wrote this? Was it that CBC conspiracy theorist? You know the one.
I do ask that because, given Canada's support of Ukraine in this current crisis with Russia, I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
No, not her. It was a left-wing activist named Brady Strachan who spends his time heckling conservatives on Twitter, just in case you didn't know. He was already a government journalist for the CBC. He proves it every day. Here he is on Jordan Peterson. Peterson said, I'm at my daughter's wedding in California. I will never forget Justin Trudeau, that my father is not here because of your utterly unconscionable, unconstitutional, and vindictive travel ban. And Brady knows his job is to defend Trudeau, especially against Jordan Peterson. So he wrote right back, I thought you were stopping Twitter and giving the phone to your staff so you wouldn't say misleading things. What happened to that? Here's another one. What was Trump's election slogan again? Make America a great dictatorship again? Seriously, this is the guy mad that someone else has an anti-Trudeau website. I saw this story on Strachan's Twitter feed. Drunk men screaming Trump attack young Muslim woman on New York subway, cops say. Now, did that really happen? Or is that one of those Jussie Smollett things? You know, that black actor walking in Chicago late at night near his Subway sandwiches who said some Trump guys jump out of the dark and say, this is MAGA country. And they just happen to be carrying a noose at 3 a.m. in Chicago. And they put it around his neck. And he bravely fought them off without ever dropping his Subway sandwich. And for some reason, he left the noose around his neck until the police came. Was it that kind of story? You know, an obvious hoax that any journalist could see through in a second? Why, yes, it was an obvious hoax. Here's the truth of it. Muslim college student made up Trump supporter subway attack story to avoid punishment for missing curfew. So there goes Brady Strachan, Trudeau's journalist, spreading anti-Trump misinformation and hoaxes. And that's fine. Maybe he's not that smart to see through the scams. But now that the scammer confessed, why hasn't Strachan tweeted an update or taken down the lie? Well, because he's not really a journalist. He's a Trudeau propagandist anyway, just a briefing on who he is. Let's read the story now, or part of it. It's a massive story. It's a full-on character assassination piece. I won't read it all. But here's the headline again. BC Mounties anti-Trudeau website raises concerns about discriminatory views within the RCMP. Police officer's satirical website pokes fun at Prime Minister LGBTQ plus issues and immigration policy. Well, we can't have anyone poking fun at things, can we? And then they have a picture which looks like it's poking fun. That's the worst. Here's the caption they put on the picture. The RCMP are investigating after a police officer in Trail, BC, launched a satirical political website called The Church of Trudeau, mocking the Prime Minister and funding of Indigenous and LGBTQ plus communities. And then they have the website, churchoftrudeau.org, which sounds funny, you got to admit. But if you go to churchoftrudeau.org, which I did, you can see that it's been taken down. Another great free speech moment brought to you by Trudeau's enforcers. But there's something called the Wayback Machine, or the Internet Archive. It takes snapshots of every page on the internet and then archives them. And here's what the site looked like before it was nuked, according to the Web Archive. liberal gospel and teachings for living your best socialist life. The high prophet of the Church of Trudeau, Father B, shares with you his teachings on how to live your best socialist life in Canada through embracing left-wing liberal ideologies and best practices. And it goes on like that. It's not rude, actually. I couldn't find any of those F Trudeau things. It's a light satire. I mean, maybe he means it. Brenda Lucky would say all of those same things with a straight face. I mean, has the CBC ever thought of that this guy, like them, really does worship at the Church of Trudeau? They think he's mocking them, but really, how could you tell? That's an excerpt from my show every night. It's called The Ezra Levant Show. That's me, Ezra Levant. You can see the whole thing behind our paywall. Well, there's a lot of goodies behind there. I do a show every weeknight. My friends Sheila Gunn Reid and David Menzies and Nat and Kat have their shows too. You get a ton of content for just $8 a month. There's so much in there you won't find anywhere else. Go to rebelnewsplus.com.